U.S. President Joe Biden has focused most of his energy in his first 100 days in office on taming the pandemic on home soil. In this short, frantic period, though, he has made a few important gestures that have been welcomed in Africa. On his first day in office, he halted the U.S. plan to exit the World Health Organization. Biden's reversal of predecessor Donald Trump's controversial decision to withdraw from the global body was greeted with near-universal approval, especially from African health experts, who said this could portend a more equitable world order. Biden also pledged an additional $2 billion to the COVAX facility, which aims to provide equitable vaccine access to poorer nations. And then, on day 90, April 20th, he spoke words that echoed across the ocean.
We can't leave this moment or look away thinking our work is done. We have to look at it, we have to look as we did for those 9 minutes and 29 seconds. We have to listen. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Those are George Floyd's last words. We can't let those words die with him. We have to keep hearing those words.
George Floyd, an African American, was born in Houston and murdered in Minneapolis. But the African continent watched keenly as a jury handed a guilty verdict to his killer, ex-policeman Derek Chauvin. Floyd's slow suffocation under Chauvin's knee, which led to his death, was a linchpin for protests and calls for police reform in the United States. African analysts such as Asanda Gwasheng, a Cape Town-based diversity trainer and gender and race scholar, welcomed Biden's admission that the U.S. has a racial justice problem. South Africa is also struggling to overcome its own racial justice issues after centuries of colonialism and the brutal, racist apartheid regime. She also said Vice President Kamala Harris's status as a powerful black female leader lends weight to Biden's desire to address racial justice, but said she wants to see more from the administration and from American institutions.
We praise Kamala, and I think it's great that we praise her, but people of color in institutionally racist institutions very rarely are able to make any change. And so unless and until we deal with the systems and the structures that keep prejudice in place, we are not going to see many changes in the United States and globally. And so, yay and great for America and Biden, but can we please talk about the institutional change that they are going to make?
Johannesburg-based commentator Brooks Spector said that while Biden hasn't made any big changes to Africa policy, the fact that he isn't making radical, impulsive changes, as critics accuse Trump of doing, is a welcome change in itself. Spector recommends that Biden work to strengthen and maintain the African Growth and Opportunities Act, a U.S. trade program.
Much of what has to happen is going to be demonstrated by doing things on the ground in a slow, steady, consistent pattern rather than these hectic policy changes of chopping and changing. If you want to demonstrate your support for economic growth on the continent, then you carry out the policies that encourage economic growth.
Spector, who served as an American diplomat overseas for several decades, says time will tell on Biden's impact on Africa. Presidential legacies, he said, are built over years, not days, even 100 of them. Anita Powell, VOA News, Johannesburg.